What up YouTube, it's your boy Anime Specialist. So another great episode of Black Clover. It was pretty cool to see how Asta and the crew got to Finwell's aid that fast. You know, it was because of one of Charmy's spell, and you know the rest. We saw what happened in last week's episode, and we saw what happened in this week's episode. So yeah, man, it was a pretty cool moment. It was a badass moment. It was one of the best moments of the series, if not the best. So let's get right to it. So there's actually a lot that we learn in this week's episode about Langris, about the Magic King, about Zora and everything. So it was a pretty good episode because, like I said, there's a lot of things that we learned. There's a lot of things that are really important for the future of this arc and the arc after that, you know. So first of all, man, prayers to Finwell. I think he's gonna survive because there's the best doctor in Clover Kingdom to you know, kind of fix him and everything. So I think he's gonna survive, but we'll have to see, man, because the injuries that Finwell has are really deep. He said that the heart rate of Finwell was going down, so hopefully he'll be okay. I know we talked about Langris a lot in last week's review, but he's a really important part of this arc, of this moment right there, so we have to talk about him. I just want to say that this man is crazy, bro. We know what he did in last week's episode to Finwell, but even in this week's episode at the beginning, after what he did to Finwell, he was trying to fight everyone that was going against him, you know. He tried to attack Asta. Obviously Asta with his anti-magic sword just destroyed his spell, you know, but he was going crazy, man. He, even though he was outnumbered, because he thinks that the Black Bulls are a bunch of losers, even though they're not that anymore. They were the second best Magic Knights team behind the Golden Dawn, you know. So they're not like that anymore, but he wanted to go up against everyone basically. So he's crazy, man. After he did that to his brother, he tried to attack Asta and everything, and this shot right there, I love it. The art and the animation in this part, in this shot right there is great. The Magic King said a lot of important things, especially about the traitor. We all know that there's a traitor in the Magic Knights that is revealing and giving information to the Eye of the Midnight Sun. We learned about that a while back. There was even an assembly with the Magic Knight captains, you know, and obviously we all knew that the Purple Orchis captain wasn't the traitor. It was just a ruse by someone, I don't know, probably William, the captain of the Golden Knights or something like that. But we learned in this week's episode that the traitor doesn't actually know that he's a traitor, you know. He's being controlled by the Eye of the Midnight Sun, so that's pretty interesting. And one of the reasons why there's this tournament right now is because Julius wanted to learn who this traitor was by kind of sensing the aura, the magic aura of this person. So that was pretty smart. It's not only to recruit members to defeat the Eye of the Midnight Sun, but it's to reveal who is the traitor, even though they don't. This person don't know that they're the traitors. And when I think about it, it's pretty sad, man. A guy that, you know, he's living his life and now he's a traitor and he doesn't even know that. That's pretty sad. Right now, we probably all know who the traitor is. They put a lot of clues in last week's episode and this week's episode. They said that Langris' aura was evil, was different. And there was a clue in last week's episode when Langris was getting mad. There was this static between him talking and him, you know, attacking. There was this static. I don't really know how to describe it, but this was when I really thought about it, and I really think he is the traitor. I don't know how he became the traitor. I don't know how the Eye of the Midnight Sun put his hands on him. Maybe it's because of William, the captain of the Golden Dawn, because I'm still suspicious about him. But yeah, man, I really want to know what it's all about. Just look at him, man. He looks crazy as hell. When he tried to attack Asta before they started, the fight in the tournament, I really thought that the Magic the King was gonna let them just fight like that, and that the fight was going to start just like that. But he actually stopped them and made them fight with their teammates. And even though it's a tournament, I don't really think it was necessary, because Langris is gonna try to kill Asta. He doesn't care. So the rules and everything, he doesn't care about destroying the crystal. I think he only cares about defeating Asta and everyone that is against him right now. Obviously, it's Asta's team versus Langris' team, and so far from what we've seen is that Langris is attacking Asta, and Asta was kind of struggling. Even Mimosa, because Asta was getting injured too frequently, her recovery magic wasn't recovering fast enough, so they had some trouble for that. But we saw Zora come in the clutch to save Asta, and to just give Asta time to transform into Dark Asta, his demon form. So we're gonna see that in the next few episodes. Asta in demon form versus Langris at full power, probably. But anyway, let's talk about Zora, man, because we saw some of his backstory again in this week's episode. We saw his dad. His dad was named Zara Ideal, and he's a pretty interesting character because he was the first peasant to become a magic knight. He actually had to take the exam more than once because he was just not strong enough. But Zara said something really interesting. He said that when he was on the battlefield, he fought beside someone that could stop time. So that guy was probably Julius, the current Magic King. So that was pretty interesting. But there was something pretty tragic that happened. He died. Obviously, because he died, Zora was left alone, and the way he died was pretty crappy. So because Zara was a peasant, because he cared about other people, members of his team of the Purple Orchis actually killed him on the battlefield. So that's crappy, man. That's disgusting that somebody from his team was actually the one that killed him and not the enemy. So that's pretty much why Zora is the way he is right now. And something that is pretty weird is that his dad, when he was younger, gave him a puppet, and this puppet looks exactly like he looks right now in the present. So I'm wondering how he took this form. Maybe it's a transformation magic or something like that. I'm not really sure, but he looks exactly like the puppet that he had when he was younger. But anyway, like I said, that's why he is what he is right now. He basically hates dirty magic knights. They're basically dirty cops, so he has his own justice, and he's gonna fight, he's gonna destroy, he's gonna beat everyone that is a bad magic knight. He reminds me a little bit of Hero Killer Stain in Boku no Hero Academia. I know that both of those franchises are rivals, but he reminds me a little bit of him because he basically decides in a way who is a good Magic Knight and who isn't. In Boku no Hero Academia, Hero Killer Stain decides who deserves to be known as a hero and who doesn't, so that's kind of similar in a way. He basically wants the Magic Knight to be in his late father's image, so that's kind of interesting. But just seeing the facial expression, his face when he saw Langris, the hatred in his face when he saw Langris was something else, man. He really hates this kind of Magic Knight, so it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen between Zora and Langris. Is he strong enough to go against Langris, or is he not? So there's gonna be an interesting matchup. We'll see, obviously, Asta versus Langris, but I really want to see before what's gonna happen between those two, because we know that with Zora's Ash magic, he can reflect some magic, he can do a lot of things with his magic circle, so it's gonna be a pretty interesting matchup. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below. Let me know what you think is gonna happen next, man. I think next week's episode, there's not really an episode. It's gonna be an episode of Petite Clover or something like that. So I'm not gonna review this shit, but I'm really looking forward to what's gonna happen 2 weeks from now, because I think they're doing that because the animation in this next episode is gonna be of the charts. I can't wait for that. So yeah, man, I do Black Clover reviews every Tuesday, so subscribe for that. And I do other anime related things like One Piece reviews on Saturdays, Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer also on Saturdays, and I now do Attack on Titan Shingeki no Kyojin reviews on Sundays, since it's coming back. It came back last Sunday for the second part of season 3, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, man, it was a great episode. I can't wait for what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Anime Specialist out. Peace.